Hello students, Jai Swaminarayan. Myself Professor Urvish Mewada, Assistant Professor Electrical Department, Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology, Part Gandhinagar. I am your subject matter of testing and commissioning of electrical equipment, and GTU subject code of this subject is 2180901. Students, let us start with this subject with chapter number 1. The chapter number 1 is safety management. So here we are going to learn about the industrial safety, because testing and commissioning of electrical equipments, it is related with the industries, or we can say the commercial instrumentation and the residential instrumentation. But here the commissioning of electrical equipment is necessary, or we can say required, for a large instrument, say an industrial instrument and commercial instrument. So let us discuss the safety management that we should keep in mind for the better, we can say, operation of the plant or an industry without any injury or any means lost of any life. So let us discuss the chapter number 1, safety management. So let us start the this chapter number 1 with its topic number 1, that is objectives of safety management. So yes, we need to design a safety management, we can say, structures. Through that we can achieve a proper safety in the premises and safety of human being which are working inside the industry. So let us discuss the objectives which are related to the safety management. So yes, safety management is basically the primary objective of a workplace safety program, and that should be help to prevent the workplace injuries, illness and fatalities that I have discussed earlier. That yes, the safety management is like managed as a minimum chances of injury and illness and fatalities in the premises, and this is necessary for any workplace, and it is mandatory from the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion. So this is the first objective that should be fulfilled for the safety management. And the second objective is to employers develop detailed plan that provide guidance in the event of accident. So whenever any accident happens, so at that moment which steps should be taken as a first aid, so that we can save one's life. So yes, the detailed plan that provide the guidance in the event of accident, it is necessary, and not only in accident but in the fire and natural disaster, or any emergency. So yes, it is also necessary for the premises where a human being is working with a danger. So yes, this is the third objective, that is work safety plan also identify the role and responsibility of the employers and employees when responding during the incident. So yes, which steps should be taken from the employers and which steps should be taken from the employees, it should be defined in the safety management program, and we can say the provided guidance at the time of accident. So this is the objective of safety management. And the goal of workplace safety is reducing and removing current danger. So this is the main aim of the safety management, that we should that we should minimize the chances of danger, and one can work without any illness, or we can say say fatalities and injuries in the premises. So this is the main objective of safety management, and that is to improve the working condition of the working condition and working environment, so that one can work with a proper confidence, and we can say without any fear. So here one example is given for mining companies. So we often read the news in the newspaper, as well as we often see the news in the on the TV channel, that in mining industries, or we can say mining, where mining is take place at that means mining work is take place at that time, at that place, the we can say it is very dangerous for human being, because there is a more chances of injuries and illness at that place. So mining companies which have some of the highest rate of work related to injuries and fatalities, so yes, it may switch to different equipment, or employ non-toxic chemicals to reduce the hazards on the job. So yes, this is the step, means taken from the mining industry or mining company, so that they can improve the working condition with minimum injury, accident, and we can say injuries of human being who are working at the premises or at the place. So these are the objectives that should be fulfilled, or we can say that the objectives of the safety management, that should obey that should obey by the companies which are providing a safety to their employees at the premises. Now let us discuss the topic number 2, that is safety management during operation and maintenance. So this is the situation at which we need to keep more safety, and we should concentrate on the work, or we can say at that time operation and maintenance, there is a more chances of injuries and fatalities during the working condition. So yes, let us discuss that safety management is related to the four major pillars that are shown in this diagram. You can see that policies and objectives. So a company should provide a good safety management policies, so that one can work at the premises without fear and without danger. And the second is safety risk management. So yes, this is again a most important point that should discuss, and that should be obeyed by any company. And the third point is safety assurance. So yes, a company should provide a proper safety assurance to the employees, so that they can work without any fear in the premises. And the safety promotions. So yes, such programs is been say is been carried out, or we can say they have to show a live safety precaution, or we can say live safety demos to the employees, so that they can easily learn how to keep the safety during the operation and maintenance in the premises. So let us discuss this point in detail: safety management during operation and maintenance. So in this you can see that safety must be taken while working with a bare or insulator conductor. Here this is the safety which is related to the electrical engineer. So here we are going to discuss the point related to the electrical engineering. So yes, the workers should working with workers which who are working with a conductors. So they should have a proper knowledge about the working condition, and the things the things that they are working for. So yes, safety must be taken while working with the bare or insulated conductor. So bare conductor means the conductors which are without insulation, and insulated conductor. So they have to keep in mind the safety rules while they are working with the conductors, whether they are bare or insulated. And use rubber shoes. So yes, if we use a rubber shoes during such work, so that will provide the insulation during the work. And if any shock or current pass through a human body, so that will not be ground just because of the rubber shoes, so the one can save his or her life at the working premises. Now the wood or insulating material to release the victim from the electric shock. Yes, so we cannot we should not use any metal rod or any conducting material to remove the person from who is comes under the means shock, electric shock. So yes, this is again the safety management that we should follow for during the operation and maintenance. And yes, use of safety belt. So yes, this is the again a safety harness, or we can say it is a necessary accessory which is required for the human being who are working with such condition where the chances of electric shock, or we can say any injuries. So the next point is, before energizing the line, check there is none working on the main line. So yes, whenever the operation and maintenance has been carried out, at that time we should keep in mind, while we are again we are giving the electric supply to the line, we should check that none of the person who are attached with the setup, or who is working or over that or not, so that we should check before we energize the line. And switch off the main switch while you work with line. So yes, it is again a necessary thing, because if line is charged, so there might be a chances of electric shock to the human being who is working with that system. And the disconnect the system from the supply when you are working with. So yes, supply system we should isolate when we are working with the electric conductors or electric line. And yes, we must check our must check your authority before doing any maintenance. So yes, a specific person or specific knowledge of that particular thing person should carried out the maintenance, because if a person doesn't know how to do the maintenance, it is very dangerous for his or her life. And it must be it must be check before he or she is working with that system. If he doesn't have that knowledge of operation and maintenance, avoid the touching of that system while the operation and maintenance. Then use proper earthing scheme. Yes, it is very necessary. If earthing is properly provided, then there is no chances of electric shock. So yes, we can save any human being or a person who is working with that system by providing a proper earthing scheme. And use liquid CO2 type extinguisher or dry sand in case of fire. So yes, it is again a safety precaution that we should keep in mind. Do not throw water when there is a fire because of the electric shock. So yes, use liquid carbon dioxide extinguisher or dry sand in case of fire. So these are the safety precaution or safety management during the operation and maintenance that we should keep in mind while we are working with an electrical system. Now let us discuss the topic number 3, that clearance and creepage for safety management. So this is the main factor that we should keep in mind for the safety management: clearance and creepage. So let us start with the clearance one by one. So what do you mean by what is clearance, that we are going to discuss in this slide. So in this diagram you can see that we are having 3 electrodes, and the dotted distance is shown, that the clearance distance which is marked means with the shortest line in air, and hence it is a clearance distance between electrodes. So let us discuss how this clearance is we should keep between electrodes, and how this clearance is why this clearance is important in the case of electrical engineering. So it is the shortest distance between two conductive parts measured through air. So here between two conductors we are having a dielectric medium, which is air, and we need to we have to keep a sufficient distance between two electrodes, so that the if so that the if the clearance is less than the required, result is flash over due to the dielectric breakdown of the air. So yes, the if the air between two electrodes get ionized, there might be a chances of sparking between two electrodes. So that's why we need to keep a specific clearance, and if it is not provided, so there might be a chances of flash over due to the dielectric breakdown. So here air is again it is working as an insulating medium, so it is called air sorry, it is called dielectric. And yes, if the air between two electrodes get ionized, so there might be a chances of transferring of the charges from one electrode to second electrode and second electrode to third electrode. So we have to keep a specific clearance between two conductive parts in the electrical system. And the factors which are responsible for the transmission of the power from one electrode to second electron, even if it is in the air, so the factors which are responsible for the breakdown in the air are humidity. If the humidity of that atmosphere, surrounding atmosphere of that electrodes which are placed in that atmosphere is more, then there might be a chances of flash over between two electrodes. And the contamination, if air is contamination means contaminated, or we can say it is impure, then again a chances of flash over between two conducting parts. And the altitude and the temperature, so yes, it is depending upon the dry air or moist air is there. So if the air is moist, then the chances of flash over between two electrodes is more. And if it is there is a dry air, then we can keep this electrodes as per the standards. But if the air is moist, then we can keep this electrode according to the standards which should be followed according to the atmosphere of that place. Now another clearance is the ground clearance. So yes, this electrodes are grounded over here. You can see that these are the point where it is placed. So yes, it is the distance between ground level and bottom of any insulator in an outdoor substation. So yes, it is a distance between two consecutive electrodes, and we can say grounded distance means where they are grounded from one point to other point, so it is called the grounding distance. So yes, it is again a necessary for outdoor substation. And yes, it is generally kept 2.5 meter for all the voltage level. So over here you can see that these are the voltage levels, and this is the ground clearance in mm. So yes, from 33 kV to 400 kV we are keeping a distance in 2500 mm or 2.5 meter. So this is the standard distance. So because of this, if we keep this distance, then we can reduce the chances of flash over due to the electric breakdown in the air. So this is the called clearance clearance in the electrical system. So yes, the minimum ground clearance between the live phase and ground at the substation of the different voltage level which are shown in this table, so that we have already discussed. So this is what the clearance is, and we if we keep a proper clearance between two electrodes, then we can reduce the chances of flash over due to the electric breakdown in the air. Now let us discuss the second, that is creepage. So what is actually a creepage? So here you can see that in this diagram we have placed an electrodes like this, and between electrodes we are having an insulating material which is provided to the ground. So yes, it is the shortest path between two conductive part through surface of the insulation. So this is the surface where insulation is provided, and it is called if a shortest distance between two conductive parts means if we keep a shortest distance between two conductive parts, then there might be a chances of creepage. So yes, adequate creepage distance protect against the tracking. So actually a tracking is a process of breakdown of the insulating material, and one path is created through the charges transfer transfer from one electrode to another electrode. So that is called tracking. So we should keep in mind this tracking. And if we keep a sufficient distance between, or we can say standard distance between two conducting parts, then we can avoid the tracking and traying of the insulating material. So it is a process that the produces a partially conducting. So initially, where there is no tracking, so initially it is a properly insulating material, but once a charges start transferring from one electrode to another electrode, so just because of the tracking, and through that tracking, a charges gradually transferring from one electrode to another electron, and flash over will occur. So tracking refers to the flow of current along the surface of the insulation. So this is the surface, insulating surface, which is provided between two electrodes, and this is the we can say creepage of the insulating material, on which the tracking creates itself. Means if the distance is not kept proper, then there might be a chances of tracking between two electrodes. So yes, and insulation, and it is causes localized heating. So yes, once the charges on the electrodes are more, so heating process will take place between two electrodes, and just because of the heating and carbonization of the surface, the tracking is start creating, and it is nothing but the creepage of the insulating material. So yes, it is this process is eventually leads to the failure of the insulation. And just because of the failure of the insulation, the charges will transfer from the one electrode to another electron with flash over. So this is what the creepage is. Now let us discuss the fourth topic, that is what is electric shock. So yes, we all are aware with the electric shock, the name that is electric shock. Electric shock is nothing but the transferring of the charges through human body. So let us discuss how this electric shock means one can face to the electric shock. So yes, it is an electric shock means occur when a person meets an electric energy source. So yes, a person who touches the electrical source, and if that electrical equipment is not earthed properly, then the charges will transfer through human body through ground. So electrical energy flows through a portion of the body, causing a shock. A part of the body which touches to the electrical equipment, if we touch with the finger, right hand finger, then current will transfer through the right hand to the body, to the right leg, and to the ground. So current will take the least resistance path. So human body is having we can say a 1 kilo ohm of resistance, and 70% of the water. So yes, if we touch the faulty electrical equipment, and if it is not properly grounded or earth, then that charges will transfer to the human body. So it is nothing but the shock. And exposures of electrical energy may result into the injury, and may result in say devastating damage or death. So yes, if a person who faced an electric shock, so maybe his or his body get burnt, or permanent death can also happens just because of the electrical shock. So yes, burns are the most common injury from the electric shock. Once when a person come into the contact of electrical equipment. So over here you can see that this is the electric shock, a person who is touching over here, and the transferring of the charges through this right hand to the body and through the gown. So this animation shows that it is the electric shock which is transferring to the body. Let us discuss this electrical shock in detail through the earthing. So yes, this is the topic number 5. So what is earthing and necessity of earthing? So let us discuss this, why earthing is necessary for the electrical equipment. So let us discuss with this point, what is earthing and necessity of the earthing. So yes, start with the what is earthing. So It is the process of transferring the immediate discharge of electrical energy. So if earthing is provided, then whenever the equipment which get faulty, so the immediate discharging of that charges through the earthed portion, not instead of human body. So it is all about the earthing. So discharge of the electrical energy directly to the earth by the help of the low resistance wire. So as I already discussed that human body resistance is 1 kilo ohm, so we connect this equipment with a low resistance wire which is less than the human body. So whenever such kind of contingency occur, or any type of fault occur, or if an instrument get faulty, so at that time this discharge will transfer through the earth wire instead of the human body. So we can protect a human being from the injuries, or we can say a death. So yes, which is known as the earthing, electrical earthing. And the electrical earthing is done by connecting a non current carrying part of electrical equipment, or we can say body. If you talk about a body of an electrical equipment, so it doesn't carry an electric current, but if any a wire which break inside from the inside of the equipment, and if it touches the body, and if a human being comes under the contact of that body, then there might be a chances of transferring of charges through a human being. So instead to keep our equipment non earth, we provide earthing to that instrument, and with a low resistance wire, and which is connected on the body. So whenever such type of fault occur, at that time that sudden discharging of the charges through that low resistance wire will take place, and a human being which is protected from the shock. So yes, equipment or a neutral or supply system to the ground. So these are the point where we provide the earthing. And mostly the galvanized iron, it is a material which is used for the earthing. And the earthing provides the simple path to the leakage current. So the current, as the instrument get faulty and there is a leakage of current, then that leakage current will transfer through the earth wire. And the short circuit current of the equipment which is passed through the earth, which has zero potential. So yes, it is having a zero potential, so that's why all the potential will transfer through that wire, and thus the protect the system and equipment from the damage. Also we can protect the human being by providing a proper earthing. So in this diagram you can see that this is the 22 ohms resistance which is connected with the portion, or we can say the instrument which is faulty. So most of the current will transfer through this wire, and a human can protect through the electric shock. But over here you can see that the high voltage, there might be a chances of transferring of high voltage through human body, because if the human body resistance is less compared to this wire which is providing for the earthing or neutral, so then there might be a chances of transferring of charges through this portion. So this hand is come under the contact of faulty instrument. So over here you can see that the transferring of the charges through this neutral. So this is what the earthing is, and it is necessary. Now let us discuss that how it is necessary or importance of earthing. So yes, the earthing is essential because of the following reasons which are discussed over here. The earthing protects the personal from the short circuit current. So whenever short circuit current transfer means short circuit happens, at that time we can protect a human being or instrument through the shock. Just because of the shock, the earthing provides the easiest path to the flow of the short circuit current. So yes, as we have discussed that earthing is nothing but the low resistance wire. So that low resistance wire, that the sudden discharging of the charges will take place, and we can protect the instrument as well as the human being from the because of the from the electric shock, because of the earthing wire. And even after the failure of the insulation, if insulation is also fail, then earthing protects the instrument and the human being from the electric shock. And the earthing protects the apparatus and the personnel from the high voltage surges and lightning discharges. So this is again an essential point. Also, earthing can be done by electrically connecting the respective part to the installation to some system of electrical conductors, or the electrode placed near the soil or below the ground level. So yes, this is the formula to do the earthing, formation to do the earthing, proper earthing. So where proper earthing is done at that at that place, this is the point which is which must be keep in mind while doing the earthing. So it is properly earth instrument. If the instrument is properly earth, then all the parts of the electrical equipment is earth with a low resistance wire. The earthing mat or electrode under the ground level have flat iron riser through which all the non-current carrying metallic parts of the equipments are connected. So that we have already discussed that all non-current carrying metallic parts should be earthed in the ground to we can protect the system from the electric shock. So this is the diagram which is showing that if the system is properly earthed, then electrical system without earthing. So over here you can see that the discharging current is transferring through the human body, so it is very dangerous for human body. And in this portion you can see that the when the fault occur, or fault current from the equipment flows through the earthing system to the earth, so thereby protect the equipment from the fault current. So yes, if it is a properly earth system is there. So in this diagram you can see that whenever the faulty instrument, if a human or we can say person who is come under the contact of faulty instrument, then over here you can see that this is the low resistance wire which is provided for the protection of this electrical equipment. And you can see that this human this person who is touched or come under the contact of faulty electrical instrument, but the current is not transferring through the human body, but it is transferring through this low resistance wire through the ground. So this is how we can protect a human being from the electric shock and the fault current which passing through the low resistance wire through the ground. So the metallic conductor connecting the parts of the installation, so all the metallic conductors which are connected through the earth wire, and whenever such type of fault occur, at that time we can save one's life from the electric shock. And the earthing connection together called the earthing system. If we connect all the instruments together, then the system is called the earthing system. This is the lecture number 1. If you have any doubt or any query related to this, you can contact me, and you are feel free to call me about your to solve your queries and doubt related to the topic. Thank you very much all. Thank you all. Jai Swaminarayan.